Okay. Looks like we are live. Let me make sure everything's working out. Let's see. Beautiful. Okay. Looks like we are all right. We're live. Everyone, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Happy Sunday. It's nice to be back another beautiful Sunday with Gordana. How are you doing this morning?
Oh, hi, Lucas. I'm doing great, but it's afternoon where I am. I'm in Sweden, so it's 5 o'clock and it's already dark. But I'm doing great. It has been a beautiful Sunday. I hope everyone else is doing great out there listening to
Yes.
us.
Yes. Happy Sunday, everyone. One of the things, I loved going live last week with you and we got so much great feedback and I'm excited to have another beautiful conversation with you. One of the words leading up to today that was just resonating in me over and over was the word surrender and
Mhm.
surrendering back to the now moment. Um, and I think we talked about this a while back when we were meeting a while ago, but I heard this term boundless surrender. And it was just this
Mhm.
concept of no space or time confinements, but literally I saw myself like floating in the ether and just fully surrendered. And it was so beautiful. It was so, it got me choked up. And also it's so grounding to say life will move, but as we surrender right now, we come back to our own sovereignty and our own sense of being, our own
Mhm.
peaceful presence. Um, so anyway, that's one of the things I would love to talk about this morning is just surrender and
Mhm.
what it means to be in the now moment.
Yeah, well, a lot of people think that surrendering means the same thing as giving up, and that's a
Mm,
totally different frequency because giving up, you have nothing left.
right.
Surrendering, you actually get everything in a moment of surrender. Surrender is about going with your flow, not going with the flow, but going with your specific flow and understanding that the universe will always have your back and wherever you end up will be home for you because we do live in a benevolent universe. It will take care of us if we allow it. To surrender, to me, is almost like we talked last Sunday, we talked about the tree having no free will. It's the same thing here. When you surrender to your flow, you actually act like the tree. You allow that flow to guide you, and it will always take you to the sea. If you're a river, it will always take you to the sea.
Mm,
So, the surrendering part to me is also about not resisting to your flow,
mm,
seeking out that when you are in fear, you are not in your own flow. You're resisting something. And
right.
that is why you can surrender to fear because it will not lead you to the right place. Knowing where to surrender and how to do that, I think, is important. You described your surrender like hanging out there in the ether, being boundless. To me,
Yes.
to me, surrender can be also to just acknowledge what is and to acknowledge that there are certain things I cannot change and to accept that I cannot change them. And
Mm,
that sets me in surrender mode and my own flow, so to speak.
yeah, that's beautiful. And the truth is nothing can stop what's coming in the future from the external, but how we respond, how we be in every moment is
Mhm.
the power is ours. And so I think of that if we're like a tree, think of the tree experiences night and day, cold and hot, wind and rain, sun. It experiences everything and it is constantly releasing in our human capacity to be releasing fear, just constantly in a state of releasing fear. Anything that comes, it just goes and receives love. And we in that now surrendered moment, like you said, we live in a benevolent universe. We do. The very fiber of whatever makes all that is love, is giving. it's good, it's life, it's tending towards life.
Yeah, it is about acceptance. It's a hard concept to understand that the universe can be loving, but if you think that the universe allows everything to be as it is, it contains everything. All that is contains everything. This means that it is not punishing anything to stay outside of its borders. It is encompassing and wanting everything to be in the center of it, so to speak. So that would be a definition of love, to allow everyone to be as they are. That is love, but it's very hard as a human being to understand that concept. So to me, it's easier to say if it is all encompassing and all accepting. It is
Mm,
not judging you. That is the love in it. The universe won't judge you. It will allow you to have your experience. You judge yourself. The
right,
universe does never judge you.
right.
So being in that flow is to allow that unconditional acceptance to be there as it is. There's
Mm,
another thing with being in a surrendering to your own flow, so to speak. It's the thing is that change is constant. It is always there. So you can't, if you resist the change, you will be in fighting mode for the rest of your life. But if you say that, okay, there is a change, what can I control here? Well, you can control the direction of that change, but you'll still have to go with the flow and with the change. So where is your power? Well, your power is in your awareness and your understanding of where you are in relationship to everything else.
yeah,
When you understand that you might not want that kind of a change, ask yourself, why am I experiencing this change and what can I learn from it? And just asking that question, you've shifted the direction of that change
mm,
because you are entering greater consciousness through that change. So it shifts you. And that's why I mean that the universe always has your back if you are present to the help that it is giving you.
yeah, yeah. It's a great point. There's a saying that a friend of mine shared with me is where attention goes, energy flows.
Yeah.
And so if we want the energy to shift, if we want things to shift around us, we need to change our energy. And what you were sharing about Tony Robbins, like creating that physical movement and then focusing
Mhm.
on something that's good will actually change the our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, our vibrational state.
Mhm.
And that's simply changing what we're perceiving, focusing on.
Mm. Yeah, it's about asking yourself, what is my state of consciousness? And then accepting your state of consciousness and then trying to change it. What we usually do is we state our state of consciousness. I am angry, and that's it. But if you say, for instance, what is my state of consciousness? And you have to, well, I'm in a state of anger. Okay, so what can I do with the anger? The anger is kind of outside of you then, and you can do something about it. And you can physically change things. You can listen to great music or you can meditate or whatever to relax in your body and not be angry anymore. There is ways to get out of a state of being. But if you think that you are anger or
Mm,
that you are a victim, then it's a part of you and you can't get out of yourself. So that's why it lingers longer, it stays longer in your body. Just asking the question, what is my state of consciousness? And then answering, I'm in a state of dot dot dot, fill in what it is. It's
mm,
easier because you externalize it in a way which makes it easier for you to detach from it if you don't like it, because you always have a choice.
that's right.
Always.
That's right.
That's the beauty of it. The choice is the beauty of it, and that's where we learn or where we find ourselves in that choice.
Mm. That's what makes us most human. That's what Viktor Frankl. That's our superpower
Yes.
that cannot be taken away.
Yeah. And of course, sometimes it's really hard to shift your state of consciousness.
Mm,
I've been doing this for such a long time that it is habitual for me, which can sometimes irritate people because they say, Gordana, you don't get it. It's really hard. I do get it. I've been doing it my entire life. But I feel sometimes when I am in my ego mind, because when you are in suffering, you're almost certainly in your ego mind, and that will give you pain. When I am in that ego mind, I can recognize the ego and I can say no,
Mm.
like that, just say no. If it's tough for me, if it's hard for me, then I'll try to help myself with tools from the outside world. I'll try to distract myself with something, maybe look outside, or maybe play some uplift music, or maybe do some stretching in my body, just in order to shift my consciousness slightly, which makes it easier. When you slightly shift it, it makes it easier for you to go full in to that.
Yes.
How do you do? Do you know how to shift your you do know how to shift your
Yeah.
consciousness?
For me, it's breathing. It's doing breath work
Hmm,
through it, through the nose,
yes.
out through the mouth. And I find when I am in a state of being triggered, my ego wants to flare, that my breaths are shorter. So I'm breathing
Yes.
like I'm not, it's unconscious breathing, but when I come back to this breath and I am here and I'm aware of that I am aware. I'm behind my awareness.
Mm-hmm.
It's really what the Untethered Soul, the book of Untethered Soul talks about is who
Mm-hmm.
is the one thinking and who is the one aware of the one thinking. And that's what breath helps me. And then I can see, oh, my ego. Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you. You're safe. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where I come up with, I have these words behind me: safe, loved, free, abundant, powerful. Those are the 5 I am words that I declare over myself. I am safe. I am loved. I am free. I am abundant. I am powerful. And when I remind my ego to, hey,
Mm-hmm.
it's all good. You don't
Mm.
need to protect me. I'm actually can protect you now. I got it. Thanks. I'm big.
Yeah.
I'm powerful. Um, that's when I'm able to shift. And yeah, yeah,
Yeah, well, what you do, and breath is such a beautiful way to do this, and the fastest way to do it when you can teach yourself to start breathing deeply on command. It helps you to recognize your true identity, the one breathing.
yeah,
Not the breath, the one breathing your lungs. That is who you are. That is your true identity. And when you start breathing in and out, and you oxygenate your mind, you become more relaxed in your body, and you can stay in that identity without the ego looking for things to distract itself with. You stay. That is the awareness, being aware of the one breathing, or being aware of the one being aware.
yeah. That's right.
It's
And
such a paradox in this, but it's
yeah,
a beautiful thing, because you do recognize your true identity, which is the same in each and every one of us, that true identity.
yeah,
And then when you start, as you said, you have these 5 words,
yeah.
which were love, I am love. What did you
Uh,
say? Say
I
it,
am,
say them
I am
again.
safe. I am loved. I am free. I am abundant. I am powerful. And those, for me, spoke they were the antithesis of the 5 greatest fears that I held. And so I go through this
Mm,
process when I coach people or to talk is
mhm,
identify your 5 greatest fears in as a husband, as a father, as health, as career, and as
mm,
friends. And so for me,
mm.
those were my 5.
Yeah.
And I rearranged it because I always needed to remind myself I am safe. I am safe.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, everything you put after I am, everything that follows I am follows you.
Yes. Yes.
And this becomes your identity or your purpose here on earth. So
Mm.
when you know your true identity, the I am, then you can dress the I am with your identity, which you are using in this world, which means I am safe, I am loved.
Mm.
That becomes your identity here.
Mm.
Instead of saying, I am afraid, I'm a victim, everything that follows I am follows you.
Yes.
It's as simple as that. So changing this, it's easier when you are in this breathing freely awareness state of mind. And that's where you build your identity on earth, your physical identity here. That is where you tell yourself who you are, because we are the story we tell ourselves
Yeah.
every single time. And that is why language is such a big thing, which we are not aware of how big importance or
Yeah.
how important words are, because everything you put after I am becomes a part of who you are truly.
Right.
So saying to yourself, I'm stupid,
Yeah.
that's that it becomes a part of it becomes a limitation in your awareness. It becomes like a brick wall, and reinforcing it by yourself without even knowing it, because it's subconscious. You don't think about it. You just maybe repeat something someone else told you when you were a child. You just repeat it habitually. So
Yeah.
stopping yourself and saying, well, this isn't true. Why am I saying this?
Hmm. And it's going to repeat the negative tape. The negative IMs are
Yeah.
usually very quiet, and the people usually are, I don't think when we go through this process with people, they're not really aware of the IMs that they're telling themselves. I'm an idiot, I'm stupid, I'm dumb,
Mm-hmm.
I'm all these things that they have yet to utter out loud perhaps, but it's always running in there. And the only way to combat or override that is to first acknowledge, identify, and then release it, and then counter it with a positive that I am brilliant, I am abundant, I am a creator, I am,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you're right, words are what we create with in this reality. It's the
Yes.
vibration that we actually audibly use to create. And so most people don't understand why they're creating, why they aren't living the life they want to live, why they're not receiving the
Mm-hmm.
good. It's because they're running this tape. And because the universe is benevolent and loving, is because this whole existence is based on love, it will continually give us what we call in until we identify that we are calling this in to shift. So it's not that it's hurting us, it's actually here to wake us up. It's just knocking on the door.
Yes. Yes.
Are you ready yet? Are you ready yet?
Yeah.
And
Well, this is how I look at reality, is that the negative things, or the things that we label as negative, are actually signals from the universe telling us that you are askew, you are not living your purpose, you are not awake to your truth, because you are not born stupid. There is, why would you be? It is such an untruth, and then yet you are sending out the frequency, I am stupid. The frequency will be matched in the quantum field exactly, because it gives you unconditionally what you are asking for. Now you might say, I'm not asking for this, I'm just stating the obvious. Well, what you see is what you receive. So
mm,
it's a loop, it comes back to you. If you say, I am stupid, it will be connected to the frequency of I am stupid, and you will be given opportunities, or you will be given scenarios which will reinforce that belief within you,
right,
because it was your request.
right,
You requested it and you got it.
that's
And
right.
it's a complicated thing to understand when it comes to the negative stuff. You can say, okay, I wish to have this and the universe gave it to me, and wow, what a beautiful universe. But then if you're not wishing for something, but you are stating it, well, it's the same thing as a wish or as a prayer, because it's about the frequency. It's not about if you want it or not want it. Not wanting is a frequency, wanting is a frequency, and everything you put around that, you
Mm.
will get. You will get not wanting.
It's it's
It's,
it's
yeah.
amazing. It is. It's amazing how it works. Also, going back to the breathing, when you're saying that we are not our breath, that is such an important concept. So in Genesis, it says that God breathed into man and man became a living soul. And the Hebrew word for soul is neshama. So our inhale, the prana, the breath that we receive is actually a gift. And to come from that, if we have that awareness that our breath is truly a gift to receive, then we can stay in that place of gratitude. And then in that frequency of gratitude, there is nothing happening to me. And I get to create I'm reinforcing what I'm creating by what I'm saying. So I'm abundant. And everything that I speak out, I look at and I receive back. This is the gift of creation. This is where we get to come back to this place of gratitude and like, what an incredible beings we are. We are so amazing. And I think this is this great awakening happening where people are waking up to the beauty of humanity, the sovereignty of humanity, the abilities of humanity that we probably have yet to even scratch the surface on. And it all comes back to just knowing we are the ones experiencing this reality, which you talk a lot about in your book so much, is so
Yeah,
beautiful.
I talk about the loop, the inner and outer world, and its illusionary boundaries, because this is about the oneness. Everything is energy and everything is connected. There is no boundaries.
Mm,
Your inner world and your outer world are one and the same. There is a loop between them. You're getting feedback that is a little bit delayed. So you're getting feedback on your feelings and your frequencies. You get that feedback back to you. That's your 3D reality. That is what you see in your reality is feedback coming from your inner self always. Every person you meet is feedback to you. So if we treat everything as feedback, we also understand where the source is and also where you can fix stuff, because you can't fix it on the outside. You have to fix it on the inside.
yes, that's right.
And by fixing, I don't mean that you're broken. What I do mean is to ask yourself, what do I prefer?
Hmm.
That is to fix it. For me, it is really important to understand where that power is. Also, when we use words, we do tend to forget that the first step in the physical manifestation are words, because that is where it comes from, the inner world, your thoughts. An idea is the first step in the metaphysical world, so to speak.
Mhm.
A thought, and then you have an emotion to that thought and you want to act it out. So you say what it is you have, you state your idea, it comes out as sound. That's the first physical manifestation. If you think of every word you say and every sentence you say as a physical manifestation of a thought that is mirroring who you are, then you would be very careful what you say about yourself and the story you tell yourself
Right.
about yourself
Yes.
and everyone else for that matter. Because even saying you are stupid to someone, well, then you're not acknowledging who they truly are.
Right.
You're stating something that is not, that is an illusion.
Right. It's fat. You talked about identity before we hopped on, and this is so
Yeah.
much about identity of how we view ourselves, and
Mm,
you know, with even like if someone's saying, I'm ugly, or
mm,
they talk about their physical traits, well, their body, we're just made of cells of this based in water, and it will hold the memory and it will create what it's spoken about.
mm,
Um, and so it's so important to come back to that identity of this soul in this amazing human experience,
mm,
and then speak life and love. That Solomon wrote, life and death are in the power of the tongue, and those that love
mm,
it shall eat the fruit thereof. If you love to speak life and good things in abundance, you will eat that in your life. You will consume that. But if you want to keep speaking death and negativity and ego based attacks, well, that's what you'll constantly get until you wake up and say, oh, I can choose
yeah,
differently.
because that is so true, because whatever you identify with, you become.
Yeah.
That's the loop I was talking about. Anything you identify with within you. Now, of, we all we have this urge to keep an intact identity of who we are. This comes with being a human being. That's the ego's job to keep your identity. Otherwise, you don't know who you are here, so to
Mm,
speak. So understanding that you can expand your identity, you can enhance your identity, you can make it into whatever you want, because your identity is dependent on your beliefs about yourself and what you say about yourself. And you have full control over that. I am the only person who knows me fully, utterly, and totally.
Yes.
No one else, even my husband, whom I've been living with for 35 years, can never know who I am entirely, because he is not inside listening to the thoughts. And the
Right.
same thing goes for each and every one of us. So the only person who has access to my entire identity is me.
Right.
And how much I want to expand in my true identity, the stillness or the spirit working through me here, by focusing on love and peace and understanding. Or if I want to make myself smaller and focus on other things, it is optional. The universe allows you, or it even promotes it, to choose whatever you want. But the more I know who I am, the more I expand in my identity, and the more I realize that I can choose my characters or traits or the thing that will be my true identity.
Right.
And I can change what doesn't work for me. I can change. It's within my power to change it. Always.
Always. And
That's where the true power is, isn't it?
that's
I
right.
mean, you come from an abusive family.
Yep.
If you would have stayed in that description of you, the story that your parents told you in quotation marks, you would have a limited access to who you truly are, and you would have a limited version of who you could become in this world.
Yeah. Yeah, truly. It's like the analogy of the fish in a fishbowl inside the ocean, and all the other fish are saying, "Hey, come out and play." And you're like, "I can't. I got to stay in the fishbowl." It's still
Mhm.
water. It's still a fish, but it's not fully experiencing all that can be. And one of the things I want to talk about, this can come up, is the word belief. If you come
Mhm.
from a religious upbringing like I do, the word belief is synonymous with truth, which they must be uncoupled, because we must,
Mhm.
as sovereign beings, have the freedom to believe whatever we want, whenever we want, shift our beliefs, expand our beliefs, look at our beliefs. Why do we believe this? Where did we come
Mhm.
from? Where did this belief come from? Who was the first person orator of this belief? So that we can shift. And I think one of the most brilliant, I mean, the book of Ecclesiastes, if anyone's ever read the book of Ecclesiastes in the Bible, is Solomon's observation of exploring all religions, all philosophies, being poor, being rich, having many wives, having no. I mean, he goes through, and that's where you get, there is a season for everything, a season to mourn, a season to
Mhm.
laugh, a season to this, a season to that. And at the end, he could say, because he experienced his own life, his own consciousness in all choosing, to say what he found for himself to be true at the end. If we are stuck in belief, well, do you believe this? Because why I'm bringing this up is you're saying you've been married for 35 years, yet Gregor still can never know you fully. So when
Mhm.
we don't, when we are stuck to, and really it's a form of codependency in a way, but not with a partner, with humanity. It's like, I don't want
Mhm.
to get out of this belief structure because I don't want to be rejected from the group. But that
Mhm.
is fear. And that is
Mhm.
stifling consciousness and creation and ascension, and being the permission for every single person to say, look, I believe this. Yes. And I shifted and I want to believe another thing. We were talking about flat earth. Like, I didn't know
Mhm.
this concept, not that am a flat earther or not, but I explored it all. It was fascinating to me. And I wasn't
Mhm.
like, oh, that's bad, don't go there. I'm like, what are these people talking about? Fascinating.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or I read the
Mhm.
Satanic Bible, read this and read that. Like, what do they believe? Fascinating.
Mhm. Mhm.
Not being not staying in fear
Mhm.
to explore, because exploration is akin to creation, is akin to expansion, and all these beautiful things of I can only know me.
Mhm.
So why am I afraid of what other people think of me? I don't need to be any longer.
No, that is true, because when you know who you are and you act from that, you will act in love, in compassion, and that's all you can do here.
Right.
I know that, as I said, I've been married for 35 years, and I know that every time I come close to my husband and I am in love and I communicate through compassion with him, I know who he is on a deeper level. I cannot experience him from the inside the way he can experience, but I know who he is, or
Right.
at least who I should be seeing in front of me. If I'm not seeing that, then my ego is in the way.
Hmm.
And the
That's
same thing goes with him. He knows who I am truly.
yes.
But then we both have egos. And of course, when the ego stands in our way, I know that I am not seeing him fully and he is not seeing me fully.
Hmm.
And that's where the problems are. When you see someone through understanding, through the compassionate filter, you don't need to react to them, and that solves a lot of things. You don't care about the beliefs that are between you, you just know the truth about that person, which is the stillness, exploring this reality and having the right to explore this reality on their own terms.
Yes. That is so important because that's truly
Yes,
love. That's showing love. That's the purest form of showing love to another person is not
yes,
being in judgment, but holding
yes.
space. Or I like the word um, being the permission for
Mhm.
another to explore, create. And aren't children doing that when they're very young? They throw fits to see, do you still love me? Where, as a parent, where is your love conditional? Where is the feeling of love conditional? The minute I act out this, you strike me,
Yes.
got it. But if we can just hold space and say, cry, throw fits, throw tantrums, do what you got to do, it's okay. I'm
Mhm.
here. You're safe. Explore the fullness of you. This is, I believe, what we are all stepping into this 5D experience of.
Mhm.
Because what, even if we knew all truth, if possible to know all truth, the universe is growing. There's expansion. There's always more to know. So no one can ever say, I know it all. So if we
Mhm.
can't know it all, may we have the humility to say, in this now moment, what I'm experiencing, I'm choosing love. I'm choosing to hold space for another.
Mhm. Yeah, holding space for another human being is to create a place in time and space um, where authenticity prevails and where non-judgment is. Just being there, listening and seeing it. It's not easy to do this. I mean, we are human beings and we are triggered, but this is a state of consciousness which we should be looking for and creating as many times as we can, especially with our children. I
Mm,
know that the first time I looked into my son's eyes, and this was minutes after he was born, I look into his eyes and I see my most beautiful self in
mm,
his eyes. It was like a mirror right back at me. He was looking me straight in my eyes, and I saw the authenticity. I realized in that moment that if I am not authentic with myself, I cannot create space for him to be authentic. And I will give him things that will stop him from being who he is, because he is perfect as he is the first breath. When he breathes in his first breath, he is perfect as he is.
mm.
Who am I to mold him and tell him what is right and what is wrong, what beliefs he should have and not have? It is his right to explore them. And for me, it is to watch him so that he won't get hurt but
Yes.
allow him to expand in that consciousness. And that was an aha moment, like a near death experience. I realized that, oh, nope, no more masks. I need to be authentic. I need to ask myself, what do I want?
Mm.
And then follow that, as long as it is a loving thought behind it. So I have this thing where I say, if it doesn't pass my love filter, it's not going into this world. So I use that term, my love filter.
Mm.
And it might sound like a funny thing to do, but I really have been doing it for a long time now. I use it as a portal. I do not allow anything else in. If it slips in, I correct it. I go back and I correct it, because that is why we have the frequency of forgiveness and atonement.
Mm.
That is truly sacred. That is truly sacred when you forgive yourself and others. And we literally create space between us, which is charged with a frequency.
Mm.
And when I forgive myself, I charge the space around me with that forgiveness, with that frequency. And it creates fireworks within me that allows me to see the world in a different way. When I create that space together with someone else, it's between us, and we can together have this firework, and we can see the world from a different place, from a different perspective, from a more open perspective.
Mm.
These are powerful tools. I don't see forgiveness as something we do. I see it as a tool in this reality to create more of the frequency that I want to manifest.
Yes. Well, it's another decoupling, not just as of love or of beliefs, decoupling belief from truth, but
Mm,
decoupling love from feeling. So,
mm,
love, the Hebrew word for love is ahava, which means to give. That's simply what love is. It gives. It gives, like the universe will give you exactly what you ask for. That's love. It's not the feeling. We, I think, in this 3D reality, have been told the feeling, the physiological response that we have to another's energy and we feel love is love. But really, the baseline of love is to give the highest good for one
mm,
another. Well,
mm.
what is forgive? It's to give the highest good, to decouple from that action and give before anything the highest good
Unconditionally.
unconditionally.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's how we decouple. So, because no one, many people have been abused, or this word love seems sticky and
Mm. Slippery. Hmm.
slippery and
Hmm.
manipulative and controlling
Hmm.
and suffocating. But when you decouple what feelings are from what the power of real love is, the very, our minds can't even fathom we exist. This whole atmosphere, the whole reality that we're in is based in the fabric of love. It is love. That's why breathing is so amazing. It's like really what we're breathing in is love. It's constantly in releasing and receiving. And you could look at love as fire. Fire emits at all times and it receives at all times. And it's this
Hmm.
beautiful dichotomy. And so when you're saying atonement and forgiveness are these like sacred places, it's so beautiful because that comes back to, I think, being back in the presence of love when we can forgive ourselves and say, oh, I explored something, but I choose the love that is available before that action in this time. It's really more receiving love and
Hmm.
receiving forgiveness than it is. Maybe the choice is to receive as opposed to give or do. I don't know. What do you think?
Yes, when you tap into that frequency of forgiveness, you literally tap into it, which means that it can flow freely through you. This
Mm,
is why I say that the universe doesn't work outside of you, it works through you.
mm,
You need to be a certain frequency for that frequency to have a free flow through you. This is why law of attraction always talks about you have to see it before you can receive it. You have to be it before you can get it. Well, it is, you cannot perceive a frequency outside of you unless you are of that frequency. You're like a tuning fork. You have to be the frequency, and then that frequency will have free flow through you, and it will manifest in whatever shape or form it chooses to manifest in front of you. And the power you have as the magician that you are in this reality is to be aware of your frequency. What is my state of consciousness? What language am I using? What is my manifestation here? Am I manifesting what I want?
Hmm.
And if you're not manifesting what you want, do not beat yourself up for it, because beating yourself up is not the right frequency.
Right. Because you will
Be
manifest more of that.
more beating.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
that's where
right.
it is. And by the way, we were talking about beliefs, and I wanted just to add this, that a belief is just a thought that seems true to you. And the more of the same thoughts, you get a belief system which becomes more and more rigid, more and more strong, more and more solid. It seems more and more true to you. If you start questioning it, it dissolves.
Yes.
When you say, is this true? And I promise you, everything that is of a negative character, when you start probing it, when you go deeper and deeper in, and I think Byron Katie does this really well by asking the question, is this true? And if you're bluntly honest with yourself, if you're truly authentic with yourself, you will find that actually nothing is true except that you exist and that there is love everywhere.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
So
You're experiencing.
just going deeper and deeper, this is where you end up. Every single time I've done it so many times, even though everything seems like truth. It's like Einstein says, it's a it's a very persistent illusion out there
Yes. Yes.
until you really probe it. And the really probing questions are, is this true?
Hmm. It is such a and hello everyone. Thank you for watching and listening. It is such a
We jumped right into
we jumped
this,
right in.
so we
It's so
forgot to
good.
say
So,
hi.
hello everyone. Because we create with what we say, and then we experience what we create, it affirms our belief that that must be true. So if I say, "Oh, I'm an idiot," and I keep creating scenarios to make me feel like an idiot, and like, "Oh, I'm an idiot. That must be true." And the the opportunity that we all have right now is to really not just look at the words that we speak, but also the words that we listen to, which is why media, and as someone that has come from the newsroom and was a journalist for many years, why the media is so alluring and so powerful and creates such a spell over the entire world is because they come with this they come with these words, but they create emotion with it as well, so you feel like you experienced it. So it already confirmed your belief because you immediately hear it and feel it at the same time. So then you speak what you believe to be true. So you speak more and more of what this narrative that isn't yours or isn't ours originally from us, more and more, and we keep creating this reality. So there's a sickness everywhere. We hear it, we say it over and over. And guess what? We're creating a
Repetition. Yeah.
sickness over
Yeah.
reality versus we are healthy, we are majestic, divine, incredible beings that get to reconnect with all that is. And if we say more of this, I mean, why would the media not say how great we are, how powerful we are, how majestic we are, how beautiful we are? You think what the world would change like that because we've all
Oh no.
experienced. So reaffirming belief structures by experiencing what we keep putting out there, when we're aware that we can turn off the media, change what we say, change who we listen to, change what we listen to, change the music, the frequency. I forget the article I was reading, but most of the music industry that comes out of Hollywood is at a certain frequency, maybe
Mhm.
430 hertz or something, that the resonance is off. But 432 hertz is actually a healing frequency. And so
Yes.
they intentionally make the frequency a little lower, which then will create a different reality, which affirms our belief. So it's our choosing to not only speak differently, but cease from listening to narrative
Yeah.
that is of a negative polarity that creates a negative reality.
Yeah. And the easiest way to do this is whatever situation you are in, negative or positive, to ask yourself a question: what is great about this?
Mm,
So, what is great about this? For me, for instance, when COVID hit, it wasn't so great because I couldn't travel, I couldn't speak, I couldn't do the things that I usually do. So, I found myself in a prison in my home. And when you ask a question like this, what is great about this? You first get angry. There's nothing great about this. I'm stuck here. But then when I start looking at it, what is great about this? Well, I do have more time for myself. I
mm,
do have more time with my loved ones. I do have more time with people because I don't need to travel. I can be there. There is more time for me to do things. I can go deeper. There's not so much noise around me. I can choose not to see the noise. I don't need to accept things. I don't need to say, oh, I'm okay with everything. I'm not okay with everything. I want to travel. I want to be able to speak to rooms full of people. I want to do that. But at the same time, what is great about where I am right now is that I can enjoy the silence. I can go deeper. I can really find what is it that I want here. I've been given the gift of time here. That is what's great about it. And if I focus on that, well, the universe gives me more of that.
mm.
And if I trust, well, then I will be in a place where I feel great
Yes.
because I'm focused on what's great with this.
Yes. Totally. Totally.
It's like
It's
doing it in the right way. I mean, and beliefs are, as I said, just thoughts that seems true to you.
mm,
We all have a lot of beliefs that we acquired by authorities in
yep.
our past.
Yes.
And there is a reason why we do this because, I mean, as I said, we talked about this in our last Sunday live, where we talked about the time we need as in our past that is preparing us for our purpose in the future and in our grown-up lives. So we are very open to beliefs in our childhood because that's how we learn how this world works. But
Mm,
that's not written in stone.
right.
They're there for you to change. You use them to get where you need to go. But then if that doesn't look the way you want it to look, then by all means change it.
That's right.
That's what beliefs are for. They're just beliefs. They're not stones, bricks. You can change
Yeah.
any belief about yourself and about everyone else.
That's right. It's beautiful. I have it's been ringing in my ears. So I have a number from your book. If you
Yes.
have that available, and everyone listening, I'm
Hmm.
sure many of you know Gordana's book, hashtag know the truth, why knowing who you are changes everything. It is an incredible, incredible book. I've read it twice. My wife's read it. It's a gift. So please. But the number I have is 57. It keeps popping up. 57.
57. Let's see where it is. 57. Here it is. And I'll show it to, oh my God, this is so beautiful. This is number 57. I'll read it for you. So, reality has no meaning of its own. You give it meaning by what you perceive and define it to be. Change your mind and everything changes.
Okay, come on.
Do you see how this is
So
connected
good.
to the entire talk today? I
Yes.
mean, this is so
That's
beautiful.
it. that summarizes everything we just said for the past.
Yeah, can I read there's a little bit more text to it and it can give you a better context here. Every event, incident, or thing that happens in your life is neutral in origin. You define it into existence by giving it your meaning. It is your definition of the circumstances that colors the experience and gives it a positive or negative charge. You are the subjective consciousness thinking it into being by choosing to observe it. This is
So,
this is so close to what we have been speaking about. It's beautiful. I will do this. I will take number 5 and number 7 together, which means what would that is 13. No, 12.
12. Yeah.
So I'll go to 12 and see what that is.
Okay.
So
Beautiful.
we are connected to that and see. This is so beautiful. Listen, this is number 12 and
Oh
you
my gosh, that's great.
number 12 goes like this. I am an incredible, deliberate creator. And that's it.
Yes. Yes.
This is so beautiful. I'm an incredible, deliberate creator.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
So everyone
We
is.
are. Yes, we are.
Oh,
Wow.
so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. This is, I love going live with you.
Yes.
Everyone, this is the gift. We do not have to live any longer how we've lived, what we've lived, why we've lived. We can change, create, be anything we want to be now. And it starts with telling ourselves a different story, telling our ego, thank you. I love you. You've done an incredible job protecting me, and I no longer need that protection. I am here now, and I am abundantly powerful. I am the creator of all that is. I've always been the creator of all that is. Therefore, I am now choosing to create something entirely new, more color, more love, more light, more abundance, more beauty, more grace, more sacred moments of, what did you say, forgiveness and atonement?
An
I think
atonement. Yes.
concept.
Yeah. It is a beautiful concept because it's it's about really tapping into who you are, to allow that most beautiful frequency of who you are to enter physical reality, because everything that you think and feel and act through, your intentions, everything is frequencies that enter physical reality and mold it and change it. So you're always sending out something. And if you're not aware of that, you're sending out frequencies, well, you will feel like you live in a jungle because unawareness comes back to you. This is why we need to become aware that you are not your thoughts, you're not your feelings, you're not your body. You're the one using all of these things to explore this reality. Just becoming aware of this. You don't need to go deeper than that. Just acknowledging the fact that you're not this body. You're using this body to explore this beautiful thing called physical reality and relationships. You're actually one with everything, but then you play the game that there is a border between you and you can touch someone else. You know what? I think it's in quantum physics, there's always a charge, so you can actually not touch.
Which
There's
float,
always a
yes,
charge between.
floating essentially. Yeah, you never touch. It's so bizarre to think of that. When I
Well,
heard,
we never touch because we are one from the beginning. That's the source is one, and the source is creating these wrinkles in itself and tricking itself to think that it is apart from something else so that it will not know everything else. It's a and recognizing it, knowing that you are the center of this, to see your thoughts, emotions, and intentions as seeds, and the physical reality as soil. And every thought, every emotion, every intention you have is like one seed that will grow in this very fertile soil called reality or a quantum field out there. And what you are doing with your thoughts. Like when you're worrying, you're taking handful of seeds of worry and then you're throwing it around you like this and it grows. Why would you? You have seeds of daydreams also. Take the daydreams instead. It's no difference. It will grow exactly the same as everything else. So plant something you like, not what you don't want.
That's right.
Become aware of, what am I saying to myself? What am I thinking about myself? What am I thinking about them? What am I saying to them? But
Mm,
start here. What am I saying to myself about myself? What am I thinking about myself?
mm.
I think that's a good place to be this Sunday morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are.
So beautiful. Um, well, I'm really excited to continue doing these lives with you and everyone watching. We are coming out with a course and we'll keep everyone posted about that, but an incredibly powerful course that we have been working on for quite a while, getting it right.
Yeah.
But this, when it comes out, we'll let everyone know and the timing will be perfect. And it's about
Mhm.
healing, it's about sovereignty, it's about, as Gordana just said, knowing who you are.
Mm. About agency, being present and
Yes,
knowing, acting from your highest self always,
yes.
using your memories in order to find your identity, your true identity.
Mm.
A lot of stuff that we
A lot of,
cover.
a lot of beautiful stuff. Well, I love you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for watching. Happy Sunday, and we'll talk to you next weekend.
I don't know. We won't talk next
Oh yeah,
weekend. You
not
are
next
not
weekend.
home.
That's right.
No.
We'll talk
Yes.
in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. We'll be back in 2 weeks with our Sunday lives here.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
guys. Bye.
Bye.